Hey, what's up, folks? It's Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance, channel that always has your back and tells it like it is. Well, in today's video, the big topic, the biggest news we've got for you is some confirmation around the fourth quarter and the data exchange, right? The data exchange, if you haven't heard about this is a critical function to Jasmy and the entire ecosystem. This basically centers around getting the data out there from the personal data locker and letting businesses acquire it by locking up Jasmy coin. So we're going to be covering that in today's video. That's critically important to this entire project, right? Outside of that, we'll be taking a look at the chart as always. We had another exchange listing. Some different pieces of news kind of came out throughout the week. We'll also be taking a look at the HODLer wallets, see where we're at with Mount Jasmy, and then we'll wrap up the video with some final thoughts. So stick around for that. So as always, if this is your first time to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button. And lastly, if you click the bell, you'll be made aware whenever I post time-sensitive content just like this. And now, let's get it going. All right, what is up, everybody? Coming back at you with a fresh episode of your Jasmy Weekly Update. We're going to kick it off right here on February 5th. This was the day after I posted our last update, where I noticed that the Jasmy chart was, as I said, rip-roaring to life. So we had a big old green candle here, and a little bit later in the day, I did another post on this, so I'll scroll up from there. Now, in between that, I did post a new article on my website and the blog, The Future Will Be Rented. So if you're kind of wondering what the future might look like, this article kind of delves into that and what you can do to avoid being a renter if that's really what you'd like to do in your life. On the other hand, if you want to rent, perfectly okay. I'll tell you, as somebody who has assets and, owns properties and that kind of thing, they're good and bad. They're good on the front of long-term overall. They're a really good thing for you in terms of building your net worth, equity, all those good things, putting money in your pocket. But at the same time, they cost a lot of money, and there's a lot of maintenance and a lot of rehab. Actually, just earlier today, I had to go to one of mine and replace a dishwasher. So anyway, the future will be rented. So check that out if you haven't yet. I've got the link here posted on Twitter, or you can go to my website at KIRfinance.com and find that. So as I was mentioning, later in the day on the 5th, we kind of had the God candle that showed up here with Jasmy. Look at this candle. Holy crap, right? Went all the way up into sort of a little bit of an uncharted territory from kind of where we've been. Obviously, eventually we're going to get up to the 0.0083 or so. This line here, that's going to be a challenge for us to break through because that was our support line for quite a long time. And as I've said before, no one really thought that we would dip down below that, but we ended up doing that. So we'll take a look at the chart in a minute. Now, here's a post from Dip Metaverse, so some Jasmy speculation. Possible reason we might be pumping is because the happiness study is going on. The last time that happened in March 2022, there were big pumps with smaller pullbacks for a week or so. Swing traders and shorts beware. Now, what I would say here is I know Dip Metaverse pretty well, and I know that if he's telling you this, it's probably right on the money. So words of wisdom there from our friend Dip Metaverse. Moving up here, I did do a post about the Turkey earthquake. May as well cover that because I didn't cover that in yesterday's video. Definitely feel absolutely terrible for everybody over there in Turkey. What's happened with that earthquake. It's just devastating and awful. So definitely thinking about all of you over there. Hope you're all staying resilient. Like I said here, stay safe, protect one another, do what you can for your neighbors, family, friends, etc. Compassion, right? Moving up from there. Adwan, our friend Adwan here had a post. Let's say a good trader that's not rich makes $100 a day for the next 2 years trading Jasmy. They'll make $73,000, pay a lot of taxes and the stress. That's 100% true. So here, especially in the U.S., whenever you're selling a position. If you are positive, that is a taxable event. Every single one of those adds up, and when you go to do your taxes at the end of the year, it can be quite the nightmare doing your crypto taxes, right? So he says here, another person bought 1 mil Jasmy for 5,000 at 0.005, sells in 2 years for at least 200,000. No stress and pays less in taxes. I gotta admit, Adwan is right on the money. Right on the money. And I know you're on the money because I'm pretty sure Adwan works for a bank. So spot on post, really, really thought that was very relevant, especially for everybody who's looking to swing trade, do that kind of thing, right? Now, here was another post from Dip Metaverse that warranted a retweet, right? So Dip says here for Jasmy update, if anyone wasn't sure, we know that the lockup period begins in the fourth quarter 2023 for the Jasmy management ecosystem, right? So Dip, in talking over with Danny at the team, asked her, I saw the roadmap, looks great. Do have one question. Can you share when the lockup period for the ecosystem begins? Does it begin at the same time as the data value exchange in fourth quarter? That's what we're all wondering, right? So once the data value exchange goes live, fourth quarter, that's when businesses can try to purchase that data. In order to purchase the data, they need to lock up Jasmy coin. This is the deflationary mechanism for Jasmy coin. That's why this is so important, because there is not any staking, there is not any coin burning. This is the deflationary mechanism, right? So Danny says, I've checked with Mr. Hara, and currently Jasmy is planning to start the lockup period for the ecosystem fourth quarter 2023. So that's absolutely huge. So we can talk a little bit more of that in the final thoughts, but that is a massive part of this week's update. So if you're wondering when this coin gets deflationary, it's the fourth quarter of this year. Okay, that's when it starts. So between now, fourth quarter, it's kind of your window, right? Moving on up. So along with all that big time movement in the chart, Manila Will, our friend here, posted Jasmy's trending #1 on CoinMarketCap. And sure enough, I had checked it same day. He was right on the money. We were #1, and we were right up there with some of these different AI coins. Fetch, Singularity Net, Ocean Protocol. Those are all AIs. The Graph, and then some of these other ones like Pancake Swap and Terra Classic, etc. So the bottom line, though, is to be #1 trending on CoinMarketCap is a huge deal, and that means people are taking notice, right? So let me scroll on up from there. I did quite a few posts here about charting with the AI coins. And then I had this post. So I said, congratulations to all the holders, all who DCA, and everyone who has survived 2022. So Jasmy gets deflationary fourth quarter. There's still time to load those bags, right? And this was a close-up of the chart on that day. We were really humming along all the way up at 0.008. So quite the week here in terms of chart movement for Jasmy. Really, really waking up, right? Moving on up from there. Oh, this was pretty funny. So Hara even retweeted this article. Not sure if everybody saw this, right? So let me go ahead and go to their site here. Here's the site, Yahoo Japan. We'll convert it to English. And it says, who works at this desk, right? and this was basically like their workspaces for the Jasmy team. I couldn't really believe that they were posting these, but that's exactly what this is, right? So 6 photos, a desk person who works at Jasmy. Let's see here. Let me move on over to it. Here we go. So here is some of the Jasmy team, right? Pretty sure this was HODLer's setup, as I recall when I was looking at this earlier. Right here, this is their head of the bank. That's his setup. The banking background. These are kind of the support people. Here's one of them, kind of working on your IoT tech. Moving forward here, we had quite a few of them. This was another one. Oh, and something else I noticed here in their various desk setups, which is kind of funny, is that they all seem to advertise these VAIO laptops or Sony monitors. So that was kind of interesting as well. Let me go ahead and go back a little bit. Let me see. I know there was a page here where we had the Sato's desk. Let's see here. Maybe, of course, I'm not going to find it now that I'm looking for it. Check out the design salespeople working at Jasmy. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. All of their desk space, though, were very humble. Nothing crazy like you might expect. This space, all this musical equipment was just for one of the guys that makes him feel creative. But he said, he's actually not using any of that in his Jasmy role. He's using the stuff over here. But just by having the instruments in the room makes him feel creative. And, I got to kind of admit, obviously you can see my background here, drum set, guitars, all kinds of stuff. Kind of feel the same way. So overall, just sort of an odd article, but kind of a neat little look into, their various office spaces. Here was a post from Zippy. So Jasmy repost. I'm here to remind you that the Hokkaido ballpark opens March 14th. So being that today's February 11th, we're just a little over a month away from this. It's advancing with Apple. And he says, remember, the Tiswit system is a mega venue intelligent management system to ensure personal information security based on Jasmy original blockchain technology. And then Zippy screenshotted this. This was from one of the AMAs that we had found. I think this dates back to like 2018, maybe. It might have been earlier. Where they had said that it was advancing with Apple, and I believe that an agreement will be reached in the near future, is kind of what it says here behind my picture. So to be seen what more is coming there. We'll really see all those partnerships come into play, I think, once that ballpark goes live. Now, the last big thing here in the feed for this week was on the 8th. So a few days ago, we had new listing, FameX, Fame Exchange for Jasmy. Deposit and withdrawal are open, right? So FameX lists Jasmy. So that was pretty awesome. Now, moving on from there, wanted to roll over here to CoinMarketCap, as we always do, kind of see what's happening with CoinMarketCap. At the moment, Mount Jasmy here, we're peaked out at 44,628. I did want to highlight earlier in the week when we had that big rip roaring volume, we were over 500 million for the day, $500 million in volume, which was just absolutely insane when that was going down. So pretty crazy. You can see here our circulating supply number is correct. We're at 93%. Max supply, obviously 50 billion coins. So that's all happening there. Now, I did want to roll over, look at charting a little bit. Here's the current Bitcoin chart. I covered this in yesterday's video where I kind of broke down, what Gensler's video did. Let's put it that way. Right now, we're kind of sitting at a support level with Bitcoin at about 21.6. Where Jasmy is at from there is if we move over here to the Jasmy chart, we are currently up 8%. And what's crazy about that is that look at our RSI. It's all the way down here. It's almost oversold on the RSI, and we're up 8%. That tells me that there is some serious momentum and buying pressure here for Jasmy. So if you look at this, here's kind of my various trend lines. You can see the volume bars. You can really see we kind of turned the corner here at the beginning of 2023, and we've sort of been trending upward in volume ever since, right? Now, we did have some red sell bars that happened here. Obviously, this is some swing trading going on. But right now, at the moment, we have another big old green candle. So that is very positive right now, right? We're kind of trading within a range of about, let's see here, 0.0061 and about 0.007, right? We were kind of riding, this line here. We're probably a little bit below that at the moment with where we're at. But overall, a very positive move in the chart. As I've been talking about for a little over a week now, I've kind of thought this thing could go on a run like early this coming week again. And when I'm looking at it here with the rest of the indicators, like I said, the stock RSI shows us as oversold. So that tells me we could do a nice little run up from here. In terms of our momentum in the market cipher B, you can see here this green means we did go positive with money inflow. So we could go way up from here in terms of money inflow. So this is nothing. So we could definitely do a heck of a lot more. You can see the momentum's kind of turning. We haven't recorded a green dot yet for any kind of a buying run or anything like that. But it does look like that could be right around the corner. And kind of like what I talked about in yesterday's video, I feel like Gensler's actions against Kraken were sort of like a grenade that halfway blew up, right? It's kind of like it could have been a lot worse than it was. But I don't think it's going to hold back the overall market very long at all. So that might have been just a little bump in the road, right? So anyhow, that is our chart for this week in the Jasmy Weekly Update. And now we're going to wrap this video up with some final thoughts. All right, so in today's final thoughts, I just really wanted to hit the nail on the head a few times in regards to the deflationary mechanism for Jasmy. So a lot of people don't really understand deflationary mechanisms and how they can differ between different coins. So with something like Bitcoin, it is deflationary because coins have been lost over time through, various people who bought at the very beginning. They threw away the laptop, the coins are gone forever, right? We have other coins that are deflationary because they have something like a burn mechanism. So they burn coins based on, trading fees, things like that. This is kind of how BNB works, right? We've also got a deflationary mechanism in terms of something like staking. So something like a Cardano, for example, it becomes deflationary because those coins are staked. They are taken out of the circulating supply. How it works with Jasmy is Jasmy doesn't have any of those things. There is no staking with Jasmy. I see this question posted a lot about people asking about where can I stake my Jasmy? There is no staking. The only way that you can possibly stake Jasmy is if there is a promotion through one of the large centralized exchanges, usually somebody like a Binance, and you can possibly stake it there in that promotional period. That's how staking works with Jasmy if it's offered. It's really not staking in the sense of securing the network, but staking in the sense of a promotional marketing activity, right? So how Jasmy becomes deflationary is that as part of this ecosystem, businesses have to lock up coins to get access to user data. That's how it works, right? So for all the businesses that want access to Platinum data, they have to lock up Jasmy coins. In the projections, the early projections of this project, they talked about locking up to 35 billion coins. That is their goal. That is massive. That's like 70% of the total circulating supply is going to be locked up by businesses. So when you think about somebody like a retail investor, like me, like you, we really don't matter in this equation in terms of the lockup, right? Who matters are the businesses. These are the people like Transcosmos, billion-dollar company. Possibly an Intel Japan, right? A billion-dollar company. You kind of go down the list, like a Panasonic, a Sony, a Honda, a Toyota, etc. Whoever all the big companies are that Jasmy ends up working with, and they lock up those coins, it takes it out of circulation. Same thing with the Nippon Travel Agency, right? Their travel agency there in Japan. All of those different companies will lock up those coins. And when they do, the goal is to get it to somewhere near 35 billion. If they can do that, that takes out a massive amount of coins out of the circulating supply, which should drive up the price of the coin for all of the early investors. Now, Hara has talked about this, that their team has looked at it, that their team has significant experience in the stock market, and they thought that this would be the best way to do this. And if you start connecting the dots here, you can see how this thing can really move. And so the fourth quarter isn't just going to explode to the moon. That's probably not going to happen. But as time goes on from the fourth quarter, this coin should be going up in value significantly. So what that means to you, what it means to me, is that between now and the fourth quarter, that's kind of our window here before this thing really takes off. After that, you're really going to be kind of chasing it, right? And, hey, some people may chase it. I may even chase it a little too. I mean, we'll see what happens. But we've got one heck of an opportunity. And what was critical in this week's update was that the Jasmy team confirmed that, yes, the fourth quarter is when the data exchange goes live. So that's absolutely critical, okay? So hopefully you get it. Hopefully I've kind of broken that down in easy to understand terms. All it is basically the fourth quarter, we get deflationary. That's it if I add it in one sentence, right? So pretty big deal, and it's only a few months away, right? I mean, we're going to be in the fourth quarter before we know it. Obviously we're in the spring now, but time flies. We all know time flies. So anyway, that is it for this week's weekly update. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button. Don't forget that I'm also on Twitter at KIR Finance, where you can find me tweeting and retweeting. Check me out there. You can check out my website at KIRfinance.com. I've got the blog, I got the Patreon, I got the merch shop, I got all kinds of random things that are posted on there. You can check that out if you'd like. And lastly, for a friendly reminder, this is Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance, channel that always has your back, tells it like it is, and I will see you on the next one. Later.